different thing to sacrifice. The professionals have something to sacrifice. So those points we covered. Now, I had explained that how the cosmic order is being highly disturbed or heavily disturbed because of neglecting the sacrifice. Right? So, within the cosmic order, now we have the climate change, global warming, and many other issues we are facing because we have neglected the responsibilities that are assigned to us. So, how do we conduct ourselves? How can you, when you say sacrifice, yajna also has a connotation to it in Indian word called tyaga. Sacrifice, another meaning is tyaga. You understand tyaga? How many of you understand tyaga? Okay, all of you understand tyaga. So all of you understand that he is a tyagi, right? So the person who always keeps the personal interest always at the backbench. He keeps the interest of the community, the interest of the society, interest of the country, but more than the interest of the scripture and the forefront. Those who will never compromise with the truth, they will die for the truth. So when you keep society, nation, and ultimately the truth in the forefront, that's called tyaga. And ultimate tyaga, when you only work for the truth, that is the ultimate form of tyaga. Right? So that is where is sacrifice. Who is here? Where is that yoga girl? She is missing today. Why so many are missing today? Eh? But we don't have Dasara holiday. अच्छा घर गई है. अच्छा 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 अच्छा. She was telling that sacrifice means putting heaven, ghee into the fire. That is also a form of sacrifice. But sacrifice is a very big connotation. Just like I told as a student, one of the very important sacrifice for you is to maintain your own celibacy. Those who are celibate, they are very strong. They cannot, as far as principle is concerned, they will never compromise the principle. They are very strong. Okay. So now third section is 17 to 26, and this section is about that how the duty purifies everyone. People say, I do a job, but that's not duty. You are doing a job, you are getting some money, and that's fine. Duty is beyond the so-called job and other things. Right? So, how do you conduct yourself? Thus duty. And let's see some of the verses first. In verses 3.17-26, Lord Krishna describes the nature of a self-realized soul and the importance of exemplary action. A truly enlightened person who delights in the self and is satisfied within has no prescribed duties. Such a person neither gains anything by performing duties nor losses by refraining from them. Why you are performing your so-called duty? Because you see, if I do this, I have some gain. But those who are self-realized, what is that they have to gain from this world? Nothing to gain. Right? Still they perform the duty to set example for others. However, despite having no personal obligation, the wise continue to perform action to set a standard for others. Lord Krishna himself cites his own example. Though being the supreme, he performs duties to ensure the proper functioning of the world. If leaders neglect their duties, it would lead to societal degradation and confusion. Therefore, even the enlightened must act selflessly for the benefit of the society. This is the essence. Yastu atmaratireva syad atma truptasya manava atmani eva cha santustas tasya karyam na vidyate.
But who takes pleasure in the self, whose human life is one of self-realization, and who is satisfied in the self only, fully stated for him, there is no duty.
Satiated. Satiated means is satisfied. The moment the soul takes interest in Supreme Soul, Atma takes pleasure in Paramatma. That is the goal. Then you have nothing, no obligation. You have no obligation there. But, and hence they have no duty. Now let's see the next one. Naiva tasya krutenartho na krutenahya kashana nachasya sarva bhutesu kaschid artha vyapasrayaha.
Self-realized man has no purpose to fulfill in the discharge of his prescribed duties, nor he has any reason not to perform such work, nor has he any need to depend on any other living beings.
When you are spiritually elevated, you are not dependent on this ephemeral world. You understand what is ephemeral? How many of you understand ephemeral? None? You understand. What is meaning? Temporary. Temporary world. Everything here is temporary. Your body is temporary. And with the body, everything perishes. So, in this ephemeral world, a yogi doesn't take any pleasure. He has nothing to, because everything is temporary here. He is in eternality. He is beyond space and time. When you are when you are liberated, when you are in elevated spiritual state, you are beyond space and time. So this world and its activities are like noise for you. They really don't make any sense. They are noise. They are not very important. So these two verses saying, once you are liberated, you have nothing to do. You have no duty. While saying so, now what Krishna is saying, let's see. Next three verses he is going to conclude. Tasmadasaktaha satatam karyam karma samachara asakto hi acharan karma param apnoti purusaha.
Now we have one act as a matter or by working without attachment, one attains the supreme.
So Krishna is teaching Arjuna that you can perform duty without attachment and simultaneously attain liberation. You dwell in Supreme. You appreciate the Supreme. So he's saying, Arjuna, that you fight. That's your duty. But not thinking that you are going to kill your teacher, your grandsire, your relatives, or you will be killed by them. As a matter of duty, you just go and fight. Don't worry about the results, what's going to happen. That I am going to take care. Because after all, Krishna will take care of everything. Bhutva bhutva praliyate. This universe is being destroyed many, many times. Every day of Brahma ends, there is complete destruction of the world. Brahma goes to sleep, the world is destroyed. Not the world, the universe is destroyed. So after every 4.3 billion years, the universe is completely destroyed. There's a cycle. You want, you don't want. This is not in your control. There is a cycle. This is like nobody can stop that 24 hours only there will be sun. Can anybody guarantee? No, it's not possible. The cycle. The morning, well, every day you will see the morning. Reversibility is there already in the nature. Reversibility is a big problem. Do you understand the reversibility in the within science? अब egg को boil कर दिया. Can you bring it back and make that egg to hatch and it becomes a chicken? It's a reversibility problem, right? But nature has uncanny reversibility. Every day you see the same morning, same night. Every year you see the same winter, same rainy season, same summer. There's a reversibility. So our time, according to our Shastra, is cyclical. What is meaning of cyclical? Just like Rutu Chakra is there, Dina Chakra is there, similarly Yuga Chakra is there. Satya, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali. There is a chakra. So this, once you contemplate using the Shastra, you will be benefited a lot. So now Arjuna is being told, you just go and fight. Don't worry about the results. Why? Karmanneva hi samsiddhim asthita janakadayah loka sangraham evapi sampashyan kartum arhasi.
By performance of prescribed duties. Therefore, just for the sake of educating the people in general, you should perform your work.
Krishna is giving the example of Janaka. Janaka was a liberated soul, but he was also the ideal king. And Krishna is saying, you are my friend. See, all of you can say Krishna is your friend. Yes or no? Raise your hand. How many of you can say Krishna is your friend? But how many of you think Krishna thinks that he is your friend or she is your friend? Raise your hand. Eh? Hari? You are like at the level of Arjuna? Eh? So, yes, for us, Krishna is friend. But for Krishna to tell that you are my friend is a big compliment. Eh? You see that you can say, oh, Ambani is my friend. But is Ambani saying you are his friend? Just try to understand this. Then you can understand. Ambani is nothing like an ant in front of Krishna. Okay? So when Krishna says you are my friend, it's a big compliment. And not only big, this is the biggest compliment. And Krishna addresses Arjuna as his friend. Krishna addresses as Draupadi as his friend. Sakha, he calls Krishna, and Draupadi, he calls Sakhi. That's the intimacy Krishna has with his personalities. So Krishna is saying, you see, Janaka is also performing. He is not giving up his kingly duty and going to the jungle. Exactly similar way, you can also behave like Janaka because you are my friend. You are not an ordinary person. Yadadacharati srashthas tattat evetaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokastadanu vartate. Very important verse. Whoever all sitting here in this class, at some point of time, you will be known as men or women of responsibility. You are not ordinary people. Ordinary people cannot enter within the IIT campus. So you are supposed to become sreshthas. But when you start working for your own self, then you are payers. You are low class. You may occupy a very high position, but you are low class. So yad acharati sreshthas. Srestha is a person Who is Shreyas? Is not after payers. There are two categories of activities: Shreyas, payers. Payers, you and your family members benefit. Shreyas, the globe benefits. So Shreshtas come from Shreyas, not from payers. Like, I addressed faculty in this beginning of the semester. So I was telling them in experiential learning, I was giving the example of Dr. Bamboo, who has started Zoho company. Okay. So I was telling that this person came, opened his software company in a village in Tamil Nadu, not in the city. And he doesn't take any graduates from IITs or NITs or big universities. He takes very ordinary 10th pass out students from villages and trains them and engages them in his company. And his company is working very nicely. Why I was speaking about this experiential learning, because he gives experience to these small kids and makes them capable of performing at a higher level. So this is just one example of Shreyas, where a person getting a PhD in America thinks about his country land in Tamil Nadu and thinks of giving a better opportunity of these villagers. This is called Shreyas. This is not payers. Huh? He would have liked, he could have got and gone on to earn more money and good salary, all those things possible. So yad acharati shreshtas. You understand how shrestha is connected to payers, pencil law. Shreyas and payers. Payers work for temporary thing. Shreyas work for eternal thing. Okay? Tattat evetaro janaha. People follow the footsteps of big people. A big person is a thief. What will happen? Eh? Wrong, simply wrong example. You know the Pakistan, a notorious country, neighbor we have. Their leaders, they steal, and after that they flee to London, this or that place. They'll go to Dubai, London. And similar thing also in India. When I say Pakistan, all of you became very happy. But there are so many. They make wealth in India and finally they want to enjoy where? In London. These London British fellows, they know. Because you see, every community, they have a speciality. Like art is the speciality of French people. Right? Similarly, trade is the speciality of Britishers. So they know. So they know how to make very nice rules and everything, and bring all these rich fellows, and they should live in London. So what will happen? The Britishers will enjoy because these fellows will spend their money there. Because this Anil Agarwal, this fellow is earning all the money from Odisha. His Vedanta factory is extracting all bauxites and everything in Odisha, right? And where he lives? Where does he live? London में, UK में. So do they have any? I have nothing against Anil Agarwal or Ambani or anyone. I'm just saying. So when a leader follows something, so when you see Anil Agarwal is doing this, anybody else what will do? Will follow in his footsteps because he thinks Anil Agarwal is giving is being given so much of respect and he's enjoying in London. I should do that. So one Kohli has gone, then one Tendulkar has gone there, Gavaskar has gone there. So like that. So that is what Mohandas Pai was telling. 99% Indians given an opportunity, they will all flee to Dubai, London, Paris, wherever you want, they will flee. What does it mean? Very few love this country. When you don't love this country, how this country can grow? How it will grow? Try to understand this. So, Shreyas and Payas, you have to understand the difference. Those who are in important position, they must set an example. They must set an example. Lord Ram, when he conquered what? Lanka. Lanka was very luxurious. Lakshman said, why not, brother? We stay here. Did Ram do that? He could have told, I was banished for 14 years. For no fault of mine. I was banished for 14 years. He could have said, get lost. Ayodhya, I'll be happy here. Where? And nobody. No Ayodhya Vasis were with him. Or they gave him any support. He could have told. No, he came back. He came back to Ayodhya. What is that verse? Matruhumi Garyasya.
जननी जन्म
बोलो, जोर से बोलो. जननी जन्म
स्वर्गादपि गरीयसे.
पूरा नहीं किया. दो सेंटेंस है.
जो श्लोक का जो नीचे वाला पंक्ति है ना, ये बोल. और यही ज्यादा प्रसिद्ध है. ऊपर वाला तो मुझे भी नहीं.
So he knows, this fellow knows very nicely. So this is so important, isn't it? You see, suppose you are born in a particular village and there are no roads to that village. You lived in that village and then suddenly you came to Mumbai. Mumbai तो बहुत अच्छा है. And you forgot your village. Simple common sense. How ungrateful I am. The place where you are brought up, where you enjoyed your childhood days, that which created ecosystem for you to grow and become big, and you say, इतना गंदा जगह है, उधर रास्ता भी नहीं है. नहीं, you should think how it should become better. This is called Shreshthas. Shreshthas, suppose you become a big collector and your father is a laborer. And after becoming a collector, you don't look at your father as a laborer. How is that stands with all of you? Exactly similar way. Shreyas, those who are in the position of higher position, they need to be shreshtas. They should understand what is Shreyas. It's very important. So do you understand what is Shreyas and Payas? All of you understand? Right? So when I'm giving this example in a context, I have nothing. Neither Ambani is my friend or enemy, or Anil Agarwal is a friend. But the fact is that these so-called billionaires or millionaires, after earning money from India, they are fleeing this country. I can't tolerate it. It's a very bad example. Very bad example. They are not right people. Okay? And in the similar way, those in every field, we have to set an example. Anybody, suppose we have a prime minister, he loots everything and tomorrow he flees to another country and enjoys there. That's not right thing. So we must recognize what is Shreyas. We must behave like Janaka, Lord Rama, as far as performing our duty is concerned. Now you see, now what Krishna is telling. Name parthasti kartavyam trisu lokesu kinchana nanavaptam avaptavyam varta eva cha karmani.
Son of Parth, there is no one prescribed for me within all the three planetary systems, nor am I in want of anything, nor have I a need to obtain anything, and yet I am engaged in prescribed duty.
Because Krishna is supreme. He is supreme Brahman. Just now you saw he was reciting, and I was also recited. What is that? Yo mam evam asammud. Ya mam evam asam. Na, what is it? Ye mam evam asammudham. Janati purusottamam. He who, and who is that person? Asammudha. Mudha means murk, foolish fellow. Sammudha means perfectly foolish fellow. Asammudha means completely opposite. That means the wise. Sa, the wise who recognize me, that means Krishna, as Purushottama. He is the supreme being. So Krishna is a Purusha, supreme person. He says, I have no prescribed duty. By his own energy, everything is happening. He doesn't need to do anything. He doesn't need anything. He is complete. Swayam Sampurna. Swayam Sampurna. Why you need knowledge? Why you need knowledge? Yes, you feel that you have no knowledge. Why do you need wealth? Because you feel you have no adequate wealth. Do you understand? So do you recognize all of you feel incomplete? You understand this? But Krishna is always complete. If he wants, Krishna wants, then he can manifest millions of universes like that. तुम्हारे लिए अगर एक कमरा अगर बनाओगे, एक बंगलो बनाओगे, you have to have money in your pocket. Otherwise, you'll go to the, where you'll go? Loan, bank. मॉर्गेज करोगे, बैंक से लोन लोगे, हैं? So that is your status. But Krishna, just by his mere desire, he can manifest unlimited universes. Each universe is full of opulence. Okay? Krishna was there in Mathura. Okay? One day he decided time has come that his pastime should take place in Dwarka. In Mathura, everybody is sleeping very nicely. Very nicely. Everybody has their own palace and they're sleeping very nicely. And early morning, when everybody is waking up, they're saying, "Arey, kahan pahunch gaye? Where we are?" But then when they saw whatever palace they were living in, this palace is trillion times better. Made up of lapis lazuli, Baudiria mani, Markata mani. You can see your face and everything in the wall. Right? Such a opulent place. So would they complain? Would you complain if today you are sleeping like that and one morning you see everything so nice? You feel happy or unhappy? Happy. And that's exactly happened to all Bathravasis. So in one night, Krishna has created a very opulent Dwaraka and transported everyone mystically to Dwarka. This is Krishna. समझ में आ रहा है तुझे? हैं? What do you think about Krishna? Like you? हैं? You are from Mathura. पर मथुरा में जो रहते हैं वो ना दिया की नीचे जो अंधेरा है. I'm just kidding. So the Krishna is so complete. He's so complete. He doesn't have to do anything. But he says, I am engaged in prescribed duty. We will discuss that, how Krishna is engaged in prescribed duty. But you see here, prescribed duties purify even liberated souls. Even those who are self-realized and no longer obligated to act like King Janaka still perform their duties to set a righteous example for others. Society naturally follows the conduct of its leaders. Leaders agar thief hai, citizens also will become thief. Try to understand this. Okay, that is why we must thank. We have a wonderful leader. Our country has a wonderful leader. And not only that, you see, throughout history, figures such as Yudhishthira Maharaj, Ambarish Maharaj, Lord Ram, King Rantideva have served as ideal rulers whose lives offer inspiration to administrators. Similarly, sages like Vasishta, Sandipani, Bhrigu, Durvasa, Vishwamitra exemplify the ideal conduct of intellectuals. Their influence transcends time. 5,000 years ago, 5 million years ago, or today, the principle remains that society is shaped by the example of its noblest members. Recently, what happened? Trump thought that he can bully India like he is bullying the Europeans. Europeans have no civilization. Their civilization is so recent. This is a country whose civilization is millions of years. And he thinks he can bully India. That was his biggest stupidity. You understand what I'm saying? So a civilizational, the ethos, that is being built not one day, from generation to generation. So in this Bharatavarsha, there was a king like Bharata. There was a king like Rama. There was a king like Janaka. So these are our administrators. Similarly, the intellectuals, like here we have given the Vasishta, Sandipani, Bhrigu, Durvasa, Vishwamitra, and many others. They all inhabited in this beautiful land of Bharata. So that's why this country is so great. You can't bully this country. So now you see Krishna is saying he is performing varieties of activities, right? Now let us read little more on this. यदि ही अहम न वर्तेयम सॉरी यदि ही अहम न वर्तेयम जातु कर्माणि अतन्द्रिताः मम वर्त्मानुवर्तन्ते मनुष्याः पार्थ सर्वसाः. So Krishna is saying he doesn't have to do anything. But Krishna is saying that if I don't do anything, people will say Krishna was doing like this. So I'll do. Krishna is authority. So they will give the example of Krishna and say, oh, whatever I am doing is right. Utsideyurime loka na kuryam karma chedaham sankarasya cha kartasyam upahanyam imaha prajaha. Ruination.
Unwanted population, and I would thereby destroy the peace of all living beings.
You see, 5,000 years ago, Lord Krishna set the highest standard by performing all his duties with divine precision, despite being the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As the ideal student, he studied under Sandipani Muni with deep humility. Krishna is God, right? And in Sandipani Muni, what he did? He went to the jungle, collected wood, brought for the ashram. He lived with people like Sudama. Sudama is a very pauper, very poor person. So in Sandipani Muni school, you can see how poor people are studying, and you are studying with them, right? But he studied. He didn't make any discrimination. Oh, they are low class, I am high class. Did he do that? No. Even reviving the Guru's Diki's son as Guru Dakshina. As the ideal householder in Dwarka, Krishna flawlessly executed his responsibility towards his many wives, children, and citizens. The Srimad Bhagavatam describes that his daily routine in Dwarka was exemplary. He would rise early before dawn, engage in meditation, offer prayers, and consult with his ministers on matters of state. He met with citizens, heard their grievances, and ensured justice and prosperity across the kingdom. As the ideal king in Mathura, later in Dwarka, Krishna ruled with wisdom, compassion, and fairness, always upholding the principle of dharma. Though the absolute Though the absolute truth himself, he took upon himself the role of a servant, serving his guru in Sandipani, Muni school, his elders, he served Ugrasena, he served his father, mother, his queens, his citizens, all in accordance with Vedic injunction. His life was a living demonstration of Dharma Sansthapanarthayam. Dharma Sansthapanarthaya Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. So he sets that standard himself to establish religious principle by personal example. If Krishna had ever neglected his duties, the entire world would have followed that example, leading to moral decay. Krishna doesn't have to do anything, but he does things very precisely according to Dharma. Saktaha karmani avidvangso yatha kurvanti bharata kuriyad vidvangs tatha saktas chikirsur lokasangraham.
The learner may similarly act, but without attachment, for the sake of leading people on the right path.
Did you follow this? Are you able to follow? People are attached to the results. But the Sreshtas, they must act without attachment to results. So by that, they become torch bearer for a wonderful society. Na buddhi vedam janayed ajnanam karma sanginam josayat sarva karmani vidvan yuktaha samacharam.
Describe duties as a non-person should not engage in the problem. Seventh life of the spirit of devotion, he should engage in all sort of activities for the gradual development of Krishna's consciousness.
So this is the end of this section. But last two verses, Krishna is saying the wise must act for the benefit of the society. I told you Shreyas and Payas. Payas are those who work for themselves. Shreyas who work for the society, bigger cause. So Krishna is saying to teach people how to act, we should perform our duty. Now you understand what is duty. Now everybody doing job, I am also doing job. That's not duty. How do you conduct yourself? For example, 2010 or 11, I was in Dalbag Educational Institute. The vice chancellor there was Professor Das. So through interaction, I came to know that in a week, he has a schedule 3 times in the night to guard the community. It's a 1500-acre community where the university is there and their own community is there. There are Gosala, there is organic farm and everything is there. So he himself guards the community. Right? Is it easy? Waking up at 2 o'clock and you have a schedule from 2 to 6. You can say, oh, security people are doing. Security people are doing, equips the security, just like we have security there. If I implement that principle here, people will brick bat at me. But that is the ideal example. Think about the security who is guarding you 24 hours a day, even in the night, how difficult it is. You yourself, who is the highest position, if he comes forward and takes the responsibility for 3 days in a week of guarding the community, whatever shift, 4 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours, that is an ideal example. Right? And whatever salary he is to get in his community who are, there are people who have to educate their children, they don't have money. So he literally donates everything, all the salary, on the very day he gets the salary to help that community. I was quite inspired. On this. So this is called duty, Baba. Not what you are thinking. Your duty is only to promote yourself. Your idea of duty is to promote yourself only. That everybody is capable of. Even a rickshaw puller is doing. So what is the difference between you and a rickshaw puller? क्या समझ में आ रहा है? तुम MBA करके और रिक्शा पुलर जैसे तुम जिंदगी जी रहे हो. So who is better, rickshaw puller or you? Who is better? The rickshaw puller is better. You have to be different from him. Then you can say, I am an MBA from IIT Mandi. So, this is the section that we covered today. What is this section? Exemplary. The exemplary duty. This section, the exemplary path of duty, is you can go and write an essay on this. I remember when America was giving a red wheat that is not eatable. That time, our Prime Minister, Lal Bahadur Shastri, gave this Nara, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan. And he told that time all the citizens of country that let us fast on Monday. It is better to starve than eat this unworthy thing that is coming from America. Nation must have its own pride. And unless that, you can't be a great nation. And a great nation is based on great leaders, not only administrators, all group of people. Everybody must excel. So exemplary path of duty, is that, are you able to follow what I'm saying? Right? So sometime you should look at such behavior in ordinary people. And we must learn how to appreciate that. How to appreciate that. Huh? And the fourth section, this is what? Third section, right? The fourth section is the role of gunas, the modes of material nature, and it's a very small section, 3.27, 3.28, 3.29, right? And this is very interesting section. Please give some, because many of you think you do the work, right? Swastika, when you eat, who eats? I eat. If there is no hunger, can you eat? There is no hunger. Will you eat? Suppose you have no hunger. Will you eat? तुम्हारे सामने रसमलाई, गुलाब जामुन, ठीक है, पनीर सब्जी, बढ़िया बढ़िया है, हंगर नहीं है, खाओगे? And she says, I eat. No. You don't have hunger, you can't eat. Try to understand this. It is the three modes of material nature. Suppose you say, I want to sleep. Can you sleep? Sleep must come. This body initiates that sleep. So for sleep, there is night. So night, and along with everything, initiates the action of sleep. I'm just giving you example how you don't perform. But let us read. Prakrute kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasaha ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. हाँ,
Being concerned with pure of faculty that are in actuality carried out by the free movement.
the spirit soul bewildered by the influence of false ego, ahankara vimudatma. You understand ahankara? How many of you don't understand ahankara? Everybody understand ahankara. लोग किसी को गाली देते हैं, कितना बड़ा अहंकारी है, कहते हैं कि नहीं? हैं? People say that. अहंकारी, घमंडी. So this ahankara vimudatma. Because of ahankara vimudatma, the deluded atma, kartam aham iti manyate. He thinks that he is the doer. But in actuality, who is the doer? Three modes of material nature. Prakrute kriyamanani. Prakriti means three modes of material nature. Prakrute kriyamanani. I had already told you, mode of goodness maintains. In this world, you see any action, there are three categories. All of you remember this? Any action has three categories. Srishti, Sthiti, Pralaya. Srishti, Sthiti, Pralaya. Small level, big level, bigger level. Only Srishti, Sthiti, Pralaya. You understand this? Srishti is because of Rajas. Sthiti is because of Sattva. And Pralaya is because of Tamas. Is that clear? So Prakriti Kriyamanani. Prakriti is doing. You are just a passenger, passive observer. You are just passive observer. Only intelligent person sees it. Others don't see it. Because we are covered by ignorance. We think I am the doer. Hey, what is your doership? You can't even eat by your own choice. Hunger is not of Atma. Hunger is that of body. And the hunger is not there, you cannot eat. two people born in the same family and they're twins. Right? But have you seen twins having the same destination in the life? No. I had a friend who were twin, and that friend recently I came to know that he died. His brother is still alive. This person was doing something, his brother is doing something else. If you are the doer, then two of them should have been chalked out the same path, similar path. Should have lived, they should have said, अरे तू अगर 100 साल जिएगा मैं भी 100 साल जीऊंगा. कह सकते हो कैसे? हैं? तो फिर ये घमंड क्यों? Why do you have this ahankara? None of us we are sure that we will see the sunrise tomorrow morning. I was reading long back, I was reading an article where it is written some 2.5 million or something, they don't wake up from the bed. They're dead in the bed. I don't know whether it is in a year or something, but looks like a year. 2.5 million people, they don't wake up. They die in their bed. And we are saying, I am doing the things. This ahankara is responsible for our ruination. It is better to be humble. So, tattvavetto mahabaho guna karma vibhagayoho guna guneshu vartanta iti matva na sajjate. Read loudly.
One who is knowledge of the absolute truth, Almighty arm, does not engage himself in the sense gratification, knowing well the difference between work in devotion and work for fruitive results.
One who is knowledge of the absolute truth does not engage himself in the senses and sense gratification, knowing well the difference between work in devotion and work for fruitive result. When you work for your senses and sense gratification, that means you are attached to the results. And when you work in devotion, that means you perform your duty, then you are not attached to the results. You act as an instrument of Krishna. Krishna wants me to execute these tasks for the benefit of the world. This way. So there is difference. Those who are in knowledge of Krishna, they perform action in Krishna consciousness. Last verse in this section. Tattvavetto mahabaho guna karma vibhagayoho
the next.
अरे हाँ 29 कहाँ गया? प्रकृतेर्गुण सम्मूढ़ाः सज्जन्ते गुणकर्मसु तान् कृष्णो विद् मंदान् कृष्ण भिन्ना विचालयेत्.
Bewildered by the modes of material nature, the ignorant fully engage themselves in material activity and become attached. But the wise should not unsettle them, although these activities are inferior to the performer's lack of knowledge.
Very good. Performance lack of knowledge. There are many people, they act for sense gratification. और जाके तुम्हें उसको बोलना करो भाई, hey, रिजल्ट्स के लिए काम मत कर. नहीं. There will be very ordinary people, they will only act like that. I'll give a very nice example. We had a great acharya, his name was Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, in his time he built 64 Gaudiya Math all across India. Right? So when a math is being built, local people they come, right? And they work very hard. And they can build, while building, they need some they need some incentive. So what is that incentive for them? They have to smoke. अगर मुंह में बीड़ी है तो काम को अच्छे से कर सकते हैं. And he used to make bidis for these people. He's a sant. He's a sant. He doesn't smoke. He doesn't. He's a salvet. He's of highest order, but he used to make bidis for these workers because they can complete the mat in timely manner. He used to make. Right? तो अब जाके वर्कर को बोलोगे भाई तू बीड़ी क्यों पी रहा है, तो फिर गड़बड़ है ना. हैं we so basically there are people, there are fishermen, right? Fishermen will eat fish because that's their job. They catch fish and they eat fish. तुम जाके जबरदस्ती फिश ईटिंग गलत है रे, क्या है वो, तो उसकी his life is like that. In our villages, one category of people were there. If animal is killed, I said not killed, when an animal is dead, naturally dead, so they will take that animal and eat it. Okay, ठीक है, that's their standard. They used to do it. So उसको नहीं, मीट ईटिंग बहुत खराब है. हमने भगवत गीता में पढ़ा है, हमारा टीचर ने बताया कि भगवत गीता में मीट ईटिंग इज नॉट गुड and you don't eat meat. You must know that for whom this is applicable. Highest level of people. Those who are in the position of teacher, those who are in position of leader, those who are in position of important position in the society, for them this is applicable. Don't extend to very ordinary people. That is not correct, because they are born in that 3 modes and it is very difficult to bring them. There are many, like for example, we have one Swami, Bhakti Raghav Swami. In Andhra Pradesh, he has made an entire fisher village. Fisher village, you understand? The village of this fisherman, right? Completely freed from alcohol, meat, fish, intoxication, illicit sex. They are all leading a life of a high class people. A sant can do it, but that's very rare, very rare. I remember in super cyclone time from Vrindavan, super cyclone happened in Odisha in 1999. So it caused a great destruction in Odisha. But there was a Vaishnav pit in Vrindavan. They went and they did some this philanthropic activities during those super cyclone. They provided prasadam, blankets, bed sheets, all those they did. But in that process, they converted that entire village to follow the right examples. Those also we see. Okay. But you cannot go and impose rule like this. This is not possible. That's not correct. Okay. So we should read a story about guna. One of the most illustrious stories in Puranas that reflect the philosophical depth of Bhagavad Gita 3.27 is this Samudra Manthan, the churning of the ocean of milk. How many of you heard about Samudra Manthan? All of you have heard. It's so nice. You see, if you go to Thailand, just like if you go to our Delhi airport, you see Surya Namaskar diorama. Similarly, if you go to Bangkok International Airport, so the diorama is Samudra Manthan. And if you go to Cambodia, all the temples there and the gate is Samudra Manthan. One side Devas, the other side is Asuras, and they are in the process of Samudra Manthan. So Samudra Manthan is a very famous episode, and it happens every day of Brahma. Every day of Brahma, right? So Brahma's age is how many? 100 years. 1 year is 365 days, right? So 100 in 365 is 36,500.
1 day,
Eh?
1 day is 365. Our own day is 1 year.
No.
Our own year is 1 day. Sorry.
No. Our 4.3 billion years is 1 day of Brahma. Okay. What you are saying, that is the Devaloka. Okay. Not Brahma. So according to Srimad Bhagavatam, when the Devas lost their strength due to a curse, they approached Lord Vishnu for help. He advised them to collaborate temporarily with the Asuras and churn the ocean to obtain Amrita, the nectar of immortality. So this is the Bali Maharaj. He became very powerful. Being austere, he became very powerful. And because of the curse, Devatas became less powerful. So Bali Maharaj started encroaching the power of the Devatas. So Devatas, being helpless, went and approached Vishnu, please help us. So Vishnu said, make a truce, say you will do the Samudra Manthan, and when you do churn the Manthan, what will happen? What will come out? Wonderful Amrita will come out, and the Asuras, they want to be immortal. So that is the best incentive for Asuras to engage in Samudra Manthan. He advised them to collaborate temporarily with the Asuras and churn the ocean to obtain Amrita, the nectar of immortality. The massive mountain Mandara was used as the churning rod. The Mandara mountain on which Hiranyakashipu performed his tapasya for 15,000 years. The serpent Basuki was used as a rope. Lord Vishnu himself assumed the form of tortoise, Kurma, to support the mountain. Mountain could not move. It required some anchor. So Krishna himself became the Kurma. There is Kurma Ch-3 in Andhra Pradesh. You will find a lot of tortoise there. As the churning progressed, many divine items emerged, including Lakshmi, Airavata, wish fulfilling cow, so that is Suravi, finally Dhanvantari carrying the pot of nectar. Amidst this, a deadly poison also emerged, which Lord Shiva consumed for the welfare of all beings. As a dispute broke out over the nectar, Lord Vishnu assumed the enchanting form of Mohini to distribute it. Because the pot has already gone to the hand of Asuras. And Asuras drink the nectar is not good for the creation. Deceived by her beauty, the Asuras handed over the responsibility to her to distribute. So the pot of nectar went from Asura's hands to Mohini's hand. And she gave the nectar only to the Devas. One Asura named Rahu disguised himself to drink the nectar, but was beheaded by Vishnu Sudarshan. Devas regained their strength and balance was restored in the universe. This entire cosmic event beautifully illustrates the teaching of Bhagavad Gita 3.27, where Lord Krishna says, all actions are performed by the modes of material nature, but one who is bewildered by the false ego thinks himself the doer. Can anybody explain how it is? The Asuras in this story embody the influence of Tamaguna, the mode of ignorance. They were driven by pride, personal ambition, and the illusion that they could seize immortality through their own strength. Deluded by false ego, they assumed themselves to the doers and controller of destiny. Despite their intense effort, they were ultimately defeated, not by force, but their own illusion and inability to recognize the supreme orchestration behind events. मिला उनके हाथ में pot था, but they are fighting among themselves. Who will drink fast? This is the nature of Asuras. So Mohini came. Krishna became Mohini. Give me. So Asuras were attracted, handed over. So even if they had the Mohini, I said in nectar pot, they could not drink because they were fighting. So from there you can see how three modes are acting. And they were very well deluded. And Devas, by drinking nectar, they became powerful. The Devas, on the other hand, operated under mixed mode of sattva. Though they too sought the nectar, they approached Krishna with humility and accepted his guidance. Their surrender allowed them and directed by Krishna. Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality, remains beyond all three modes. Yet he orchestrates the entire process for the benefit of the universe without any personal gain. This illustrates the proper vision of action. While the mode of nature performs all work, it is the Supreme Lord who directs the system. The Jiva, individual soul, is only an instrument. When the Jiva forgets this and identifies as the independent doer, he becomes bound by karma. But when he surrenders and accepts his subordinate position, he becomes liberated even while acting. So, at the end of this chapter, there is a take-home lesson called, where is my free will? If three modes are working, then where is my free will? right? 3 modes are acting. So you are not responsible, it seems. So this answer has been given in that particular section. Sometime I'll discuss, but we will stop here. So very important point we discussed today: exemplary path of duty. How people trained in Shreyas, they should take up the important position in the society. Okay, important position in the society. If leaders are corrupt, leaders are thief, then people also will become thief, right? So that's very important. Those who are in the position of leader, they have to act exemplary way, and they can become good leaders by reading Bhagavad Gita, by understanding Bhagavad Gita. So all of you are praiseworthy because you are learning Bhagavad Gita, right? So I must commend your chair that he has kept this course for you, right? This course was not for you, was not there probably. He has kept this course. I hope you got a chance to read Bhagavad Gita that you should have studied in your house when you were very young, not now. But now you are learning. So it is better to be late, not than never. So this is the first part. And second part is that it is the 3 modes that's making the actions to happen. Never think that you are the doer. The only thing you can think, you are the instrument. मैं निमित्त बन सकता हूं. निमित्त भव मात्र सव्यसाची. When nobody taught me Bhagavad Gita, in 1988, I took Bhagavad Gita. And every day I will read one chapter without fail, without understanding anything. But one thing I understood in 11th chapter, when Krishna tells Arjuna, Nimitta Matra Bhava Sabyasachi. That really, I realized this is what is my position. At best, I can become only a nimit. I can become an instrument. I am not the doer. Right? So, this is the completion of section 3 and 4. Any question?
Like for research, intellectuals can best do research. Like intellectuals are mostly in mode of sattva, that is sthiti. So why sattva, not rajas, for research?
Yeah, please. Why sattva, not rajas? Yeah, some rajas may be necessary.
Intellectuals are mostly
But intellectuals also can command over rajas. This is a little difficult proposition to understand. Like Vishwamitra was the king. He was a Rajarsi, but he attained Brahmarsi. But a Brahmarsi can become also Raja. Right? So the those who are at higher mode, they know how to engage other modes also. Right? Yeah. Any other question?
They were
Asuras.
they were operated in the mixed mode of the sattva. Mixed mode of
Acha, very good. This is what I was telling. Mixed mode of sattva means they are also afflicted by passion. Mostly goodness, but there is some passion. Right?
this desire.
Yeah. Right? So, yeah, they was are in that. They're mostly in mode of goodness, but some passion is there.
Can also those who are not attached to the fruits of their work, can they also be there can be also the possibility of the person who for the low caste to convert the means the log should follow him, so he is following that duty. But there are now people like not now, but can there be a possibility of this race stuff? is unattached to the duty, unattached to the fruits.
Anybody who is detached from the results is in mode of goodness.
But is
Only a person in mode of goodness can become detached from the results. That is why our Shastra says only people in mode of goodness should be placed in the highest position. If you place a tamas fellow in the position of king, what will happen? That is what it is. So we are supposed to place, a country is a good country if people in sattvas are able to occupy the highest position. Yeah.
The duties which you are saying, sir, that is based on Varnashrama Dharma or is it-
Obviously. But that is Varnashrama. But the ideal leaders are beyond Varnashrama.
as
You
a common
understand?
man,
So even Varnashrama also, they are also attached to the results. But here Krishna is saying you have to be freed from results. So everybody must practice this. Mere Varnashrama is not enough. Okay? You have to go beyond Varnashrama. Ah.
Being student, how to get free from results?
No, that is
Yeah.
the isn't it? Suppose you are learning the principle of management. If you have learnt it nicely, won't you feel very happy?
Mm.
But you have not learnt your subject, but you score 10 points. That is, you know how to the art of scoring marks. Right? There are many students. They are very good at art of scoring marks. But you ask them anything, they have no answer. Right? So which is better?
Being skilled is better.
Yes. So from that perspective, will make you automatically, instead of working for the exam, you work for the knowledge. Because that's why you are here. To be trained, to be skilled. That is very important. Okay? Okay. Thank you.